Teach the people the truth about Islam, the misconceptions that confuse their minds. Oh humanity, Islam is not new, it's the faith of all the prophets too. Let's work together in the path of truth and come to common terms, don't be a...
And we start last week speaking about the book of sales, Kitab al-Biyu', and we spoke about the chapter 1, and today inshallah we'll speak about chapter 2, and that very important chapter, and that is chapter of the sale, the riba, chapter of riba. I think come to Sunnah followers, inshallah. If you are in, come to Sunnah followers, please, in Taimur. All right. So we spoke about the first chapter, and today the chapter for today is really very important chapter, because the chapter of the riba, if there's some people not dealing directly with riba, the dust of the riba or the sense of the riba will touch the people. That's why today, inshallah Rabbil Alameen, we will speak about this topic in both ways, academically and something for everybody. If you don't want to study and academically, you understand the important and the dangers of the riba. The important and the dangers of the riba, especially we live in the society now, the whole society, dealing with riba some way, somehow. That is one of the signs of the day of judgment. That is one of the signs of the day of judgment. And to me, this is very dangerous topic. To me, it's very dangerous topic when you're speaking about the riba. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يتخبطه الشيطان من المس. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us the one he deal with the riba, take riba or deal with any kind of riba, just he will be resurrected from the grave, wal'iyadu billah, just like somebody insane, and somebody have a seizure. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. And in many ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised those people, they dealing with riba, with interest, they have a punishment in hellfire, wal-iyadu billah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. Another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَى. That means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hate the riba, take the barakah from the riba, the blessing from the riba. So whatever the person have money and wealth, whatever that person have the money and wealth, still that person, wal-iyadu billah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hated. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have not going to put a barakah or a blessing in that money. In fact, it is a punishment in the dunya and the akhirah. Punishment in the dunya and the akhirah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات والله لا يحب كل كفار أثيم. Say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يمحق الربا, that means he hated the riba. There is no barakah with the riba. And ويربي الصدقات, the sadaqah, the opposite. The sadaqah, the charity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala growing. The sadaqah ويربي الصدقات, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says ولا والله لا يحب كل كفار أثيم. He described those people dealing with interest, dealing with riba. They are not making kufr, continuous kufr. Kafar, it's more than kufr, wal-iyadu billah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. So Allah Azza wa Jal hated, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam hated, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described those people, they are kuffar, not only kuffar, continuous making kufr, mubalagha in Arabic language. That means the one he disbelieve in the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Not only that, and the one he deals with riba, he declared war against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messengers, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله وإن تبتم فلكم رؤوس أموالكم لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها, this call for the believers, for us inshallah رب العالمين, say اتقوا الله, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and stop deal with riba. Stop deal with the usury, with interest. Why? That if you are really believer, إن كنتم مؤمنين, if you really believe, فإن لم تفعلوا, this is the warning here. If you don't do so, then wait for a war that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declare a war against you, and His messenger also will declare against you. فإن تبتم, if you have repentance and you stop dealing with riba, then what you have, your capitals, your رؤوس أموالكم, your how much your capital is. You're not going to be oppressor, or no one will oppress you. You're not going to be oppressor, and no one will oppress you. This is really another warning from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the one he deals with riba, kafar and athim. Kafar, that means more than kafir, more than disbeliever, and athim is a sinner. It's a sinner, wal'iyadu billah. It's a sinner, wal'iyadu billah. So this is really something we have to put in mind, and something to think and to put this in consideration. When you deal with riba, you have to be aware of everything you deal with, especially in this century. Especially now, in this kind of environment we are living in, we have to, when we dealing with any kind of selling and buying transactions, because we have two types of riba, we're going to speak about it today, inshallah. Then we have to make sure your transaction not related one of these two things, inshallah. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is many ahadith describe the riba is more than the person committing zina 36 times of the zina. How much that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say, dirham واحد من الربا أشد من 33 زنية في الإسلام. أو another hadith 36 زنية, dealing with 1 dirham of riba, one dirham of riba, worse than 33 times, another hadith 36 times of adultery, of fornications. Ya Allah, how dangerous is that? The least of the adultery, a person, wal'iyadu billah, making this kind of relationship with his own mother. So the worst, this is the least things, the person just having a relationship with the mother, sexual relationship with the mother, wal'iyadu billah, that is the least of the riba. Is the least of the riba. We have really to be careful and be aware of these things. Dealing with the riba, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is made worse. You cannot even imagine. You cannot even imagine 33 times or 36 times of zina, of adultery, the least of adultery person having a zina with his own mother. A'udhu billah rabbil alameen. And Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, تحريم الربا أشد من تحريم الميسر. Say, riba worse than gambling. Worse than gambling, والعياذ billah. This is haram and this is haram. And this is also the riba, والعياذ billah, from the 7 things the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us about the great sin. One of the 7 great sin, والعياذ billah, dealing with the riba. So in many ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describe some nations. Those people, they are taking the riba, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have, say, وَأَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ مِنْهُمْ عَذَابًا, and among those people, they dealing with the riba, they have a great punishment, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So riba, what is the meaning of riba? What is the meaning of riba? The meaning of riba is ziyada. Ziyada does mean having extra. You pay extra, or you take an extra of the money, and I'm going to speak about this in more details, inshallah. But there is a wisdom of tahrim al-riba also. There is a wisdom that the riba, it is haram, إن فيه أكل أموال الناس بغير الحق. You're eating, they're taking the rights of the people without rights. You take the rights of the money of the people, the wealth of the people, without rights, you're taking their rights. You're taking their rights. Subhanallah, and not only that, for the people especially in need. For the people especially in need, that we taken their rights. The people in need, they taken their rights. This is not right to overcome and take over, transgress some other people. But anyway, If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أحل الله البيع وحرم الربا, حرم الربا. So if Allah making the bay'ah transaction halal and the riba is haram, we have to put it in consideration and we stop dealing with that. Of course, we have two types of riba. Riba called riba al-nasi'ah wa riba al-fadl. And really, it needs some explanation because now we're dealing in many ways of riba. We're dealing in many ways of riba. And not only what is in the time of the Jahiliyyah or the time of before the Islam or pre-Islam, but we have many ways of riba, and that's why we not only stick with our book, but we go through some other issues. So fiqh al-nawazil, some other issue speak about. Okay, riba al-nasi'a مأخوذ من قولة نسء والنسيء or nasi' or النسيء that means التأخير. النسيء that means you delay things. And also التأخير or delay is two types. The two types. One قلب الدين على المعسر وهو أصل الربا. So meaning in the time of the Jahiliyyah or the pre-Islam, before the Islam, someone will give someone a certain amount of money. And suppose that person to give him this money in a certain time, and then he tell him, you know, this is 1 month, for example. If 1 day extra, and I will give you that chance, I will take some certain amount of money extra, 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever it is, loan. And after this certain time, a month, for example, a week, whatever it is, then I will take an extra money. This is one kind. Another kind, also still we see riba al-nasi'ah still, and I say, okay, demand in advance. It's the money is now, but if you delay in advance, or now I will take certain amount of money extra when you return the money back to me. That's riba al-nasi'ah. So we give the money in a certain amount, but with the extra money. And a lot of banks and a lot of people, they're dealing with these things right now. But riba al-fadl, the word fadl in Arabic language, also ziyada. But what is ziyada in what? Ziyada means extra. Ziyada in Arabic language means extra, more. Still nasi'ah with the delay. But al-fadl or riba al-fadl, it's just like with the people dealing with the two things similar. Like, for example, the ahadith, most of the ahadith is speaking about gold, silver, barley, wheat, salt, dates. Say, we speak about 6 things. See, we speak in most of the ahadith. I calculate all the ahadith together and say, about number one is gold and silver and wheat and barley, dates, and salt. 6 things. Other than that, according to some scholars, it's okay to use or to exchange. Of course, some scholars, they say riba al-fadl, they mean this kind of riba, that is fine as far as not gold by gold, the same. I mean, gold by gold, or silver by silver, or silver for silver, or wheat for wheat, and so on. Some people, but the majority of the scholars, the jumhur al-ulama, this is both types of riba is haram. Both kind of riba is haram. The first type, al-nasi'ah, the delay, and riba al-fadl, that is haram as well too. Okay, now how is that? Of course, hadith Ubadah ibn Samit in your book, Ubadah ibn Samit, and hadith Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala also in your book, and speaking about, say, al-dahab bil-dahab, it's haram, the riba, say, dahab for gold for gold, silver for silver, wheat for wheat, and barley for barley, and date for date, and so for so. مثلا مثل, similar, yadan biyad. We agreed last week, the bay'ah or the transaction should be how I want to buy this pencil, for example. I want to buy this pencil. This pencil costs $1, for example. I give you this pencil and you give me the dollar. See, hand by hand, aynan bi'ayn, if you remember last week.